and started screaming, you don't really realize how serious it is. You don't think this is a life-threatening situation.
Let's speak to Jason Kirkpatrick, who's a climate expert and former Vice Mayor of Arcata in California. Jason, thank you very much for joining us. When you look at this situation in California, it must bring back memories of your time there.
Yes, it does. And I know exactly what this feeling is like. It's terrifying. I've been stuck in these fires. My cousin lost her house in this area a few years ago when it burned down. And even as a youth in this area, I remember with nearby fires, I was on the roof of our wooden shingled home with a garden hose, hosing down the roof so that flying embers with these big winds called Santa Ana winds that they wouldn't catch my house on fire. This is terrifying, yeah.
So when we see fires on this scale, the worst in Los Angeles history, and we're told by climate change experts the frequency is likely to increase, what needs to change, first of all, in terms of how emergency responses are organised, in your view?
Okay, the short-term things for emergency response, there's some small things that we can do. We're learning about from these lessons we're hearing in the news. The water planning needs to be done a bit better. They've really done well, but we see that this is the worst ever fire, and now there will be lessons learned. There will be more fire water storage, better collaboration with other agencies, possibly outside of California, so that there can be rapid reaction from nearby states like Arizona, Nevada, Oregon. That will have to happen. But another thing we can see dealing with evacuations, like we know that the firefighters are tired, they're exhausted. So having things like the National Guard in reserve, but maybe trained in advance to deal with mass evacuations, that if they were able to be called in from early on to help firefighters, to help police, that would free up a bit more time for the firefighters. That's one of the things that they could do.
But in terms of longer term, what do you believe needs to happen in terms of how we protect these houses, these buildings in parts of the country which are at risk? Because the argument is preventative measures are immensely expensive.
Yes, some things are low level, and I want to talk about the short term and the long term. Like when I was a young person fighting, or with my garden hose on my rooftop with wooden shingles, well, those were going up like in flames like crazy. And since then, there's more fireproofing laws, and this can be changed and improved. So instead of wood shingles at all, even if they're fireproof, they're still not exactly fireproof, right? They're fire retardant or more fire retardant. But you can change rules so that there's wood, not wood on the roof, but stone shingles, things like this. In LA, we see this Spanish style roofing. That is something that we can change. We can change zoning laws so that homes aren't built as much in these areas. But we need to be serious about the financial impact, because this is costing billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, of pounds, these extreme weather events. As you know, in Britain, mostly with the floods, I would say the British equivalent of California fires is more flooding in terms of extreme weather impact caused by climate. We can save money, the financial costs that the insurance company is complaining about, that should be taken into consideration. We have massive public costs for these extreme weather events.
Jason,
and we should stop subsidizing fossil fuels.
Jason Kirkpatrick, there's much more we could talk about. We'll do that another time, I hope. Climate change expert and former Vice Mayor of Arcata, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
A reminder, we have a live page running online with the very latest on the LA fires from our correspondents across the area. You'll find that on the BBC News website and our